Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. This is Beyond the Surface. Here, we have God-centered conversations about different topics that students and young adults deal with. My name is Ryan, I'm the host of the podcast. Later today, I'm going to be joined by my co-host, Ezer. Today, Ezer and I are going to give you a little bit of an update about where we are at kind of in life and with the podcast, and we're going to talk a little bit about our plans for where this podcast is going to go in the near future. We hope that you enjoy the episode today, and we can't wait to share what we've got planned with you guys. So now, without further ado, let's jump on into the conversation. Okay, so today we're just going to kind of take a look at what life looks like now for us and what's going on now that our state has started to open back up. Michigan has lifted the stay-at-home order. Gatherings are starting to happen. Churches are starting to open. Restaurants are back. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about what we've learned through our quarantine and through the coronavirus and COVID thing. We're going to talk a little bit about what the rest of our summer looks like. And then at the end, we've got a big announcement for you guys. So stay tuned for the end of this episode. We're excited about this announcement, and we've got some changes coming to the podcast, so we can't wait to share that with you guys. So Ezer, why don't you just start off and talk a little bit about what life looks like for you now that Michigan's opening back up and Kalamazoo's starting to get back to normal here.
Yes, it has been so nice to see people again. I'm looking forward to, visiting all my friends and, just hanging out with them, spending time at the park. We haven't been getting too close to each other, but we're at least able to meet up at each other's houses. Ryan and I, as you know, we're kind of already doing that, but whatever. No, it's been nice. Something I really, really missed that we haven't really been able to do quite yet, only in certain places, is going out to eat. I just love going out to restaurants and spending that time with people and just kind of being in the atmosphere of a restaurant and going to our local places here in Kalamazoo. But yeah, I'm just so happy that we can at least go out and we're not under any stay-at-home order or curfew. It's been nice just to go for a little drive or maybe go down to an ice cream place or, just enjoy that. I don't know. The gyms haven't opened up, have they?
No, my gym is opening up on Monday, so I'm excited about that. I cannot wait to get back into the gym.
Yeah, what's that been like with not being able to go to the gym? Because you're one that gym is like a part of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that has honestly been the toughest part. For a long, long time, I was doing at-home workouts, and I was doing them with my sister even. So I had a little bit of a partner there, but then we both got back to work, and it's been tough just to coordinate schedules with different work hours. But the at-home workouts have not been my favorite, so I haven't even been doing those recently. I've just been running. I'm running a few miles every single day, and that's pretty much my working out. It's been really strange because I don't like to run all that much, but I got to stay active somehow, so that's what it's been. So I don't know. I'm excited for the gym, though. Monday, I am going to throw all the weight around, and I'm not going to be able to walk on Tuesday, but it's going to be okay.
Come on now. Beyond the Surface coming from the gym. We should make that happen. But I know for me, my work has not changed at all. I've just been doing remote work, and I've been grateful for that, but I'm just really looking forward to get back to the lab. Mm-hmm. But I know, Ryan, you were out of work for a little bit, and now you're back in, and you've been just really been running ever since.
Yeah, so I was out of work for the last little bit of March, all of April, and the beginning of May. And then towards the end of May, we started seeing more of our urgent patients or surgical patients that needed to have surgery basically in order to be able to see to drive or function on a daily basis, basically. So we were kind of slow the first couple weeks we were back. But then when June hit, we opened up our books for reschedules for all the patients that were canceled. And so we have just been crazy busy. I've been working longer hours. We're going to extend our office hours even more. And there's talk of us working on weekends, which we don't right now. So we have just been crazy busy. A lot of patients to see. There's still a lot of patients to reschedule. But it's all good. I really like what I do. So it's a good thing that we're busy and we're starting to see patients. And it's a good thing that we're to a point where we can start delivering our healthcare to them and helping them with their site and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm excited about all of that. And just to be back feels so good. So.
Yeah, I know, just especially looking at you, Ryan, and some of my other friends who are working in the healthcare, I just have gained a great amount of respect for just our whole nation who has been, working in the healthcare and in the hospitals or just in any sort of clinic just testing and making sure that everybody is healthy. They really put themselves in danger. And I think that just shows a lot of humility and of selflessness, that they put themselves in danger during COVID to help people recover from it. Or maybe it's not just for COVID or just something else, but anyone in the healthcare. I know I really appreciate them. And I got to give a huge shout out to all of them, including you, Ryan, for just keeping our nation and our citizens healthy. So, Ryan, I just want to ask you, what are your plans for, the rest of summer? What's the rest of summer going to look like for you?
Yeah, so summer's going to be a little bit busy for me. So as many of you know, I'm applying to medical school. That's kind of my goal. I am on a waiting list for a school that really I want to go to so I guess I'll just explain it this first. I'm going to start my reapplication, just in case I don't get in. I want to be prepared and improve on some of the areas that I feel I was maybe lacking last year. So I'm starting my reapplication for the upcoming cycle again. So if I don't get in for this fall, I can get in and start medical school next fall. So, with that being said, I still am on a waiting list at a school out in Maryland. So I would love to get a phone call at some point this summer saying, hey, we've got a spot for you. You can come here. And if that happens, I'm going to be more than willing to accept and go to the school. But if not, I do need to start getting to a point where, I'm putting myself in a position to go in fall of 2021. That's the goal. That's where I feel God's called me. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm passionate about. That's the vision that I have. So I'm going to continue to work at that and continue to persevere for that. So I'm going to be very busy between work and rewriting essays for applications and trying to hammer down letters of recommendation and all that stuff this summer. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be my summer, is working on the med school re-app. Again, I would love it if I got the call and they said, hey, you can come here, and I could kind of just enjoy my last few weeks in Michigan before I got to move. But if that's not what God's got for me, then I trust that whatever he's got in 2021 is going to be great too. So what about you, Ezra? What do you have going on kind of the rest of summer?
Yeah, I know for you, that's got to be kind of difficult not knowing for sure what's going to happen, but I think you're doing everything the right way. And for me, I'm about to take a final exam for one of my summer 1 classes. So once that's done, I'll be so happy. And summer 2, I'm not taking a class. It'll be my first break since summer of 2018. I've just been doing, lots of classes, in the summer. And it was never too many classes, but I've just never had a break. So it'll be nice just to concentrate on my research, concentrate on work, concentrate on Beyond the Surface. We'll talk more about that. And even just to hang out with some friends. I know a small group of friends and I, we plan on going to Washington, D.C. for the 4th of July. Might not be our best idea, seeing as everything will be closed, but, they're still doing fireworks there, so that'll be kind of fun. And, I'll just continue to spend some time with some friends, do some Beyond the Surface and work, and we'll see. Who knows what, summer, really the sky's the limit, especially when you have that time, really. So, I don't know, Ryan, what are some of the fun stuff that you're going to be doing besides med school apps and all that?
This past weekend, I got to go camping. I did some backpack camping, which, as many of you know, if you're a consistent listener, that's kind of my jam. That's what I like to do.
Where at?
We went back up to, I've been here before. We went back up to the Manistee River in Mesquite, Michigan, and we backpacked the Manistee River Loop, which was a ton of fun. That was just really nice. We had perfect weather that weekend. It didn't get above 70 degrees, so it wasn't too hot for doing the hiking, but it was also warm enough and sunny enough for us to jump in the river and do some swimming and float down the river a little ways. And it was a really good weekend for it. So hopefully I'll be able to get a little bit more of that in. I'll definitely be playing some golf. I like to golf in the summer as well. I've been doing that a little bit already. I might have to tone down the amount that I go golfing now, but that's okay. I should still be able to get some of that in. And then that's really all that I've got planned. I mean, hopefully a couple camping trips, working on Beyond the Surface still, hanging out with Ezra and friends as much as I can when I do have some free time. But yeah, that'll kind of be the gist of it.
So Ryan, I want to know if you could talk to Ryan Merchner from January 2020, what's something you would tell him? What are some of your biggest lessons learned in quarantine, just with all of the division that's taking place in our country, just with the things that you learned with waiting on med school? What's something that you could warn and you would encourage Ryan Merchner beginning of 2020 that, here's what's to come, here's what to do, here's what not to do, how to respond, how not to react?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And I think a lot of this we've kind of spoke to on the podcast already, like a lot of the lessons that I would say that I've learned. And that was a little bit of the inspiration for a lot of these episodes. But I think really just the biggest thing is this year, 2020 so far has really just been a reminder of how much life is a marathon and not a sprint. And that's kind of what I did when I did the podcast when Ezra was gone and I did it all by myself. That's really what that podcast was about. And it's just, quarantine lasted way longer than anybody expected. Got to a point where I was starting to go crazy at the end, I felt like, and I was just tired of everything. This med school journey has lasted way longer for me than I anticipated. That not even the med school itself, just the waiting to know if I'm getting in or not has lasted way longer than I anticipated or had hoped. So I think it is just a good reminder that like we need endurance in life and as Christians, right? Like the whole time I'm trying to do my best to rely on God, and like we do get to points, or I have gotten to points where it's been hard. It's like I've questioned, why is this really what I want to do? Is this really what God's got for me? Is he really, there fighting on my behalf? But in the end, every time I've asked, he's given me peace. Every time I've asked, he's kind of reaffirmed that this is what he's got for me. And so I would just say, that patience and endurance is important as Christians, and that we can constantly be filled up with God when we hope in him. The Bible tells us to do that, but I think that we often want to just be filled up with God. We don't want to do the hoping in him and placing our trust in him kind of thing. We just want him to kind of do it for us. So I've really just learned to press into God to an even greater degree than I could have imagined. So that's definitely been one of the lessons. And then I think another big one is just remembering to take things one day at a time. With all the division and stuff that's going on in our country, and with me waiting to get into medical school, it's just been really important to me these last few weeks to try and take it one day at a time and say, what can I do today to love on the people that I'm going to be around the best? Whether that's maybe doing some of the things at work that other people don't like doing, and just having a good attitude about it. Whether that be just treating my patients with as much love and respect as I can for the short time that I'm there with them. Whatever it is, regardless of who it is or, what they look like, what they've done, none of that matters. I just want to go out and I want to live each day treating people as best I can, regardless of, like I said, what they've done, what they look like, where they come from. It doesn't matter. They're all children of God. God sees all of them in the same light, basically. And so I want to love them like he does as best I can. And obviously, I'm not perfect, but if I go into each and every day with that mindset, I'm going to impact more people, and I'm going to have a positive influence in a lot more people than if I'm worried about myself or worried about, where I'm going to be tomorrow or this fall or whatever. So I would say the three things is just that, patience is important. We're running a marathon, not a sprint. And so we got to rely on God for our strength, and then take one day at a time and worry about treating each and every one that you come in contact with the same love that Jesus would have.
I love that phrase. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. And in a marathon, what's important is that you just keep on moving. Mm-hmm. You can't stop for any reason. There are going to be some parts where you're going to be running faster, some parts where it's going to be a light jog. Hey, there might even be some spots where you have to stop and you're like, yo, I got to walk this out. I got to catch my breath, but you got to keep on moving. And man, in this thing called life, I'm just thinking life is not divided into semesters, there's always going to be something else, always going to be something more. God has more for you. God's going to keep on pushing you. And that's okay. That's something to look forward to. That's something to get excited about. And I just think because Mike Todd always talks about this, that you have to know the pace that God is setting for you. And if I could go back and talk to myself at the beginning of 2020, it would be to go easier on myself and to just honestly give myself a little bit of slack, because what happened in 2020 was something that I could not have prepared for. Nothing that really I saw coming, and really it was totally unexpected. And I was going so hard on myself, and I was beating myself down every single day and just becoming more depressed and just angry because my efficiency was very low. You know, I had all this free time, and I was spending it doing next to nothing. And I was just wasting time every single day doing nothing. And I wasn't like working out or anything, or I wasn't like, doing much homework. There wasn't much homework to begin with. There wasn't much work at all. And I was feeling bad about myself. But there are going to be some seasons in your life where God's going to lower the pace. You know, he's going to bring it down and going to have you move slower. And then there's going to be other seasons in your life where you're going to move in full speed ahead, where your efficiency is going to be so high. You're going to be going from this place to that place all in one day. And you're going to be meeting with this people. You're going to be working on this. You know, you're going to be applying for this school. You're going to be, cultivating that friendship. You're going to be in that relationship, all these sort of things all at once. And God gives you grace for the pace. We hear it all the time, but what that means is that he's going to grace your mind and your body and going to give you the strength to do what you need to do when you need to do it. That's what that means. So there might be some, maybe you're in a season of life and you're trying to work on this project on the side, or maybe you're trying to do, this little, sports team or friendship or a podcast or even a relationship, whatever else it is. And you're just feeling drained out from that thing. And it's probably because you're doing it in your own ability, in your own strength, because God hasn't graced. It's not necessarily that's a bad thing, but it might not be the right time. And you'll sense that based upon the grace or lack of. So that's when people say grace for the pace, I think 2020 has really awoken me and made me realize, okay, there are going to be some seasons where I'm going to be a lot slower, and there's still grace for that. There's grace for that slow speed as well. So if I could go back and tell myself, it would just be to go easy on yourself, to watch the pace, and just to do what God wants you to do when he wants you to do it.
Yeah, I think that's really good. That's wise advice. I really like that. That was something that really didn't come to my mind at all. So I like that we had two totally different pieces that we can kind of draw on. And I think that they both can be, used to kind of complement each other too. So yeah, that's awesome. But kind of speaking about that and just the different paces and whatnot, as you guys heard, my summer is going to be pretty busy. My pace is picking up a little bit. So on that, we're going to be making a few changes to the podcast. Nothing too crazy. We're both really excited about it. But I'll kick it over to Ezer. He's going to kind of announce what we've got for the rest of the summer and where Beyond the Surface is going to go here.
So, as you heard, Ryan is pretty busy. And for me, my rest of the summer is going to be pretty open and pretty free. And essentially what we kind of had the agreement of is that I'm essentially going to take over the podcast for the rest of the summer for the most part. Ryan's still going to be coaching me about it, but he's going to show me the ropes on publishing, of editing, of podcasting, and creating content. Man, I just have to say creating content is hard. I have so much respect for pastors and for YouTubers and all of them. I never thought I'd be doing this in a million years, but I've had so much fun with it. So I'm going to kind of be taking that lead role for that. And that's going to be for Beyond the Surface Season 2. So be on the lookout for that. Beyond the Surface Season 2 is going to come out sometime in July. In the meantime, we have Beyond the Surface Season 1 finale is going to be coming out the very next podcast. So this is episode 14. Episode 15 coming out next week. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be the finale of this. It's still going to be me and Ryan, but we're going to be tackling a subject that we are so excited to talk about.
Yeah, so we're excited about it. It's going to be a little bit of a change. Still going to be me and Ezer doing the podcast, kind of, tackling this thing together. This has been awesome. It's been awesome for our friendship. It's been awesome, I think, both for our faith, just to grow and to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone. But like Ezer said, really, this has kind of been my podcast so far. I've done the editing, most of the ideas of topics and whatnot. We've worked together on that. But the publishing, the artwork, all of that has kind of been me. So Ezra's going to take over and he's going to do all of that for Season 2. And so that's going to be kind of our pivot. We're going to take a small break in between seasons. I think just like a 1-week break is what we're planning. But yeah, so our Season 1 finale will be July 1st. So a week from when you guys are listening to this right now. And then after that, it'll be a little bit different, but It's going to be the same beyond the surface, pretty much. Alrighty, thank you guys again so much for listening. We appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to us or follow us based on the platform that you're listening. And don't forget to share this episode with your friends. Ezra and I hope that you guys have a great week as you go and love God and love people. And we can't wait to see you back here next Wednesday.